never falling down, down, down.
I often wonder why other religions call their God's name by their true name. And then I wonder why we were conditioned to call the God of Israel, the God of creation, the God of the universe, and much more such a generic name. I found out why, but that's another lesson that we can talk about later. To know and understand his name is very important because I have found that you can be easily deceived if you do not know his character, what he wants and does not want. Otherwise, you'll be found worshiping another God and participating in their rituals, like paganism. This is not to promote the Hebrew Roots movement or any other group, which tends to push their teachings to extremes. And then I don't condemn or I don't judge. I just want to proclaim his name the way it's correctly to be pronounced. So I don't believe that if you pronounce his name another way, that you're not saved. His name is in the Hebrew Bible in the Tetragrammaton for letters Y, H, V, H. Most scholars have transliterated the Hebrew letters as YHWH, and I have also found that the letter W was literally a double U, but YHWH is most familiar to many. The name means to be, to exist, to cause to become, or to come to pass. During my studies, I had found debaters, scholars, linguists, and students challenged on which is the correct way to pronounce his name. Some is written as it is sound, Yod, He, Vav, He, while others add vowels to make it Jehovah or Yahweh, because Hebrew words are more spoken than written. It has been found to be pronounced Yehovah. Today, the English transcription Jehovah is used by many English-speaking Protestant Christians, by Jehovah Witnesses, and by people of other languages whose Bibles were influenced by the English King James Version or the American Standard Versions. Regardless of which numbers are correct, the fact that the name appears about 6,000 times in the Old Testament tells me loudly and clearly that YHWH or Yahweh or Yod He Ve He wanted us to know his name and who he wants to be to each of us. Because the Messiah is the Son of our Father, we must go back to his roots on earth. In the very first verse of the New Testament, it clearly proclaims the Jewish ethnicity of Jesus. The name Jesus has clear Hebrew origins in the 1611 King James New Testament. The name Yeshua appeared originally wherever the Messiah was spoken of. Yahshua means Jehovah, salvation. Later, the Messiah's name was replaced with Iessus, which is Greek. Later in the 1600s, it became Jesus, starting with the New English letter J, which was introduced at the time. Further, the Greek Iessus comes from the name Zeus, the ruling god, in the Greek pantheon. Jesus is the modern English translation of his name and the letter J, and it wasn't used until 1632, written within the legal brief prepared for the Court of the High Commission in London, England. The name Jesus does not translate into the Father saves, as does the Hebrew name. Rather, the name Jesus points to the pagan god Zeus, instead as it ends in us. The Greek Iessus comes from the name Zeus, the ruling god in the Greek pantheon. I have come to respect and understand that the Father revealing himself to his ancient people does not give us the permission to change his name or the Messiah's name at our convenience. While reading the scriptures with this rich information, I pray that we all would develop an affection for the true name itself over such an inferior title as God or Lord, because there is power in the name. In my conclusion on the Father and Yeshua's name, and due to the many mistranslations, mistransliterations, hidden and removed information, it is clear to me that we serve a mighty God. Regardless of which pronunciation or transliteration we use, I am deeply grateful that He doesn't let our awkward fumbling of His name keep Him from all who desires to know who He is. I hope you take the time to check out the links in the description for your study, because if we do not get this knowledge and understanding, you will be easily fooled. With the New Age religions that are here, you can fall victim to deception and found worshiping another God. I want to thank you for visiting King's Kid Outreach Ministry, and I hope you continue to pray for our nation and also continue to study, for these are times where we need to make sure that we are understanding who our Father is. Thank you for visiting, and peace and love.